Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this exclusive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history. Today, we're diving deep into the incident that has everyone talking: George Clooney being kicked off Lorraine Kelly's show after a heated clash. It all started on a seemingly ordinary Tuesday morning in the ITV studios in London. Lorraine Kelly, the beloved Scottish presenter known for her warm, chatty style and ability to make even the grumpiest celebrities open up, was set to interview Hollywood heavyweight George Clooney. Clooney, the Oscar-winning actor, director, and humanitarian, was there to promote his latest film, a political thriller about corruption in high places. Fans were excited, expecting the usual light-hearted banter, perhaps some stories from the set, and maybe a bit of flirting, as Clooney's charm is legendary. But oh boy, things took a turn no one saw coming. As the cameras rolled and the live audience settled in, Lorraine began with her signature smile, asking George about his family life with Amala and the twins. He responded graciously, sharing a funny anecdote about fatherhood. Then, she pivoted to his activism, particularly his outspoken views on global issues like climate change and human rights. George, ever the passionate advocate, elaborated on the urgency of these matters, emphasizing how celebrities have a platform to effect change. Lorraine nodded along, but there was a subtle shift in her demeanor, a tightening of her smile that keen viewers might have noticed. She then brought up a recent controversy involving Clooney's endorsement of a political candidate in the U.S. elections, questioning whether stars should stick to entertainment rather than politics. George chuckled at first, defending his right to speak out. But Lorraine pressed on, citing examples of backlash against other celebrities. The tension began to build as George's responses grew more pointed, arguing that silence in the face of injustice is complicity. The audience murmured, sensing the unease. Lorraine, perhaps feeling the need to challenge him for the sake of lively TV, referenced a tweet where Clooney had criticized certain media outlets for biased reporting. This seemed to strike a nerve. George leaned forward, his voice rising slightly as he accused mainstream media, including shows like hers, of prioritizing sensationalism over substance. Lorraine, taken aback, defended her program's integrity, insisting it was about real people and real stories. The exchange escalated quickly, with George interrupting to say that fluff pieces distract from pressing global crises. The studio fell silent for a moment, the awkwardness palpable. Producers in the control room must have been scrambling, but the live broadcast continued. Lorraine tried to steer back to the film, but George wasn't having it, launching into a rant about corporate greed and how it affects everyday folks. At this point, Lorraine's patience wore thin. She interjected firmly, reminding him that this was a morning show, not a debate forum. George shot back, suggesting she was avoiding tough topics to keep sponsors happy. The clash reached its peak when Lorraine stood up, signaling to security off-camera, "I'm sorry, George, but if you can't respect the format, we'll have to end this here," she said, her voice steady but strained. The audience gasped as two burly guards approached the set. George looked stunned, protesting that he was just being honest. But it was too late. He was escorted off the stage amid whispers and shocked expressions. The screen cut to a commercial break abruptly, leaving viewers at home reeling. Social media exploded immediately, with hashtags like #ClooneyClash and #LorraineKicksOut trending worldwide. Fans divided into camps. Some praised Lorraine for standing her ground, calling George arrogant. Others hailed him as truth-teller, accusing the show of censorship. Clips of the argument went viral, amassing millions of views within hours. Celebrity reactions poured in, from supportive tweets by fellow activists to cautious comments from talk show hosts. This incident sparked broader discussions about the role of politics in entertainment interviews and the boundaries of free speech on live TV. Analysts debated whether Clooney's passion crossed into rudeness or if Lorraine overreacted to maintain control. In the aftermath, Clooney issued a statement via his publicist, apologizing if he offended but standing by his words, emphasizing the importance of dialogue. Lorraine, on the next day's show, addressed the elephant in the room with her usual grace, saying it was a heated moment but wishing George well. The event even boosted ratings for both the show and Clooney's film, proving that controversy sells. But beyond the drama, it highlighted deeper societal divides. reminding us how polarized conversations can become, even in the glitzy world of celebrity chats. As we unpack this further in the coming segments, stay tuned for exclusive insights and expert opinions on what really went down that fateful morning. Now, let's rewind a bit and explore the lead up to this explosive encounter. George Clooney arrived at the studio early, reportedly in high spirits, chatting with crew members and signing autographs for fans outside. Lorraine Kelly, a fixture on British TV for decades, prepared her questions meticulously, aiming for a mix of fun and substance. Little did anyone know that underlying tensions would surface so dramatically. The interview began innocuously enough, with Lorraine complimenting George's timeless good looks and asking about his directorial choices in the new movie. He delved into the inspirations behind the script, drawing parallels to real-world events. But as the conversation progressed, Lorraine's probing into his personal beliefs ignited the spark. She mentioned his work with the Clooney Foundation for Justice, praising it initially, but then questioned if such activism alienates fans who just want escapism from movies. George countered by saying art has always reflected society, citing classics like All the President's Men. The back and forth intensified when Lorraine brought up a recent op-ed where Clooney criticized big tech's influence on democracy. He passionately argued that unchecked power leads to inequality, using statistics on wealth disparity. Lorraine, perhaps sensing the interview veering off script, attempted to lighten the mood with a joke about his Nespresso ads, but George steered it back, linking corporate endorsements to ethical dilemmas. The audience laughed nervously, but the atmosphere thickened. Then came the pivotal moment. Lorraine asked about his views on the UK's political landscape, specifically post-Brexit challenges. George didn't hold back, lambasting policies he saw as divisive. Lorraine, a proud Scot with her own opinions, challenged him on oversimplifying complex issues from afar. Voices raised, gestures became animated, George pointing emphatically, Lorraine crossing her arms defensively. The live chat feed on social media started buzzing with comments like "This is getting real," and "Go George." Producers signaled to wrap up, but the damage was done when George implied that morning shows contribute to public apathy by avoiding hard topics. Lorraine had enough. "That's unfair, George. We cover important stories too," she retorted sharply. He doubled down, listing examples of what he called infotainment. The clash culminated in her decision to end the segment prematurely. As security intervened, George stood up, shaking his head in disbelief, muttering something about free expression. The studio audience was divided as some booed, others applauded. Post-incident, the internet dissected every frame. Body language experts analyzed micro-expressions, lip readers speculated on off-mic words, memes flooded platforms, from photoshopped images of Clooney being dragged away to parodies of Lorraine's catchphrases. Talk shows across the pond picked up the story, with U.S. hosts like Jimmy Fallon joking about it in monologues. Clooney's team worked overtime on damage control, while Lorraine received flowers from supporters. This event not only humanized these icons but also sparked debates on interview etiquette. Should guests stick to promo, or is authenticity more valuable? In an era of cancel culture, where does the line lie between passion and disruption? As we continue, we'll hear from insiders who were there, shedding light on behind-the-scenes chaos. Delving deeper into the personalities involved, George Clooney has long been more than just a pretty face in Hollywood. From his breakout role in to directing acclaimed films like Good Night and Good Luck, he's built a reputation as a thoughtful intellectual with a sharp wit. His marriage to human rights lawyer Amal Al-Amadin added layers to his public persona, making him a power couple advocate for justice. Lorraine Kelly, on the other hand, is the queen of morning TV, hosting her show since 2010 after years on GMTV. Known for her empathy and relatability, she's interviewed everyone from royals to rock stars, always with a twinkle in her eye. Their clash seemed out of character for both, which is why it captivated so many. Replaying the key exchanges, George said, "Lorraine, with all due respect, shows like yours gloss over the real issues facing our world." She replied, "We bring joy to people's mornings, George. Not everyone wants doom and gloom with their tea." He fired back, But ignorance isn't bliss when the planet's on fire. The verbal sparring showcased their differing worldviews, Clooney's global perspective versus Lorraine's focus on everyday upliftment. As the argument heated, the camera caught fleeting glances from the crew, some looking alarmed, others amused. When Lorraine called for a break that turned into an ejection, it was unprecedented for her show. George walked off with dignity, waving to the audience, but the sting was evident. In the green room afterward, reports suggest he vented to his entourage about feeling ambushed. Lorraine composed herself quickly, transitioning to the next segment on cooking tips as if nothing happened. The fallout extended to their respective circles. Amal Clooney reportedly supported her husband publicly via a subtle Instagram post about speaking truth to power. Fellow actors like Matt Damon texted George in solidarity. For Lorraine, colleagues rallied, praising her professionalism. Media outlets ran opinion pieces, some criticizing Clooney for mansplaining, others lauding his courage. Viewership analytics showed a spike, with reruns drawing record numbers. This incident also prompted reflections on gender dynamics in interviews. Would a female guest be treated similarly? As podcasts and vlogs analyzed the tape, new details emerged, like alleged pre-show warnings about sensitive topics. Clooney's film saw a box office bump, proving no publicity is bad publicity. Lorraine's show gained international attention, attracting U.S. viewers curious about British telly. Ultimately, this clash reminded us that even polished celebs are human, prone to passion and pitfalls. Moving forward, it might change how interviews are conducted, with more ground rules or kill switches. But for now, it's a tale of two titans colliding in the spotlight. To understand the broader implications, let's consider the media landscape that birthed this moment. In an age of 24/7 news cycles and social media scrutiny, celebrities are expected to be multifaceted: entertainers, influencers, activists. George Clooney embodies this, using his fame for causes like Darfur relief and anti-corruption efforts. Lorraine Kelly's platform, conversely, thrives on feel-good content, celebrity gossip, and lifestyle segments, providing escapism for its primarily female, middle-aged audience. Their worlds collided when expectations clashed. During the interview, as George expounded on environmental policies, Lorraine interjected with, "But George, our viewers care about family and fun too." He responded, "They should care about the world their families inherit." The escalation was swift, with accusations flying and calling her show superficial, her labeling his attitude condescending. The decision to remove him was bold, sparking debates on host authority. Post-event, ITV issued a statement supporting Lorraine, emphasizing respect for the format. Clooney's reps countered with calls for open discourse. Fan reactions varied by demographic. Younger viewers sided with George, older ones with Lorraine. Online polls showed a split, with memes evolving into merchandise like t-shirts saying "kicked off by Kelly." Late-night shows parodied the scene, with impersonators recreating the drama. This also highlighted cultural differences: American directness versus British politeness. In the US, such clashes might be celebrated. In the UK, they're seen as faux pas. Industry insiders speculate it could affect future bookings. Able stars demand topic vetoes. For Clooney, it burnished his rebel image. For Lorraine, it affirmed her no-nonsense rep. As days passed, apologies were exchanged privately, per sources, but publicly, both stood firm. The video clips continued circulating, analyzed by communication experts who noted nonverbal cues like furrowed brows and clenched fists. This event even inspired academic papers on celebrity activism and media. Meanwhile, Clooney's film premiered to rave reviews, with critics noting ironic parallels to its themes. Lorraine's ratings held steady, her resilience admired. In essence, this clash was a microcosm of larger societal tensions: entertainment versus enlightenment, comfort versus confrontation. It prompts us to ask, what do we want from our TV icons? As we wrap this segment, remember, behind the glamour, real emotions brew. Reflecting on similar past incidents, this isn't the first time a celebrity interview went awry. Remember Tom Cruise's sofa jumping on Oprah or Kanye West's interruptions? But Clooney's ejection feels unique, blending intellect with intensity. Leading up to the show, Clooney had been on a press tour, fielding similar questions without issue. What set Lorraine apart? Perhaps her disarming style lulled him into candor. The clash unfolded thus. After initial pleasantries, Lorraine asked about his Nespresso deal amid coffee farmer exploitation concerns. George defended it as sustainable, but she pushed on ethical consumerism. He grew defensive, saying, "It's easy to judge from afar," she quipped. "I'm just asking what viewers wonder." From there, it snowballed into politics, with George lambasting government inaction on refugees. Lorraine, whose show often features charity spots, felt attacked when he implied media complicity. "We're part of the solution," she said. "Not if you shy from hard truths," he replied. The audience tension was electric, some shifting uncomfortably. When she signaled security, it was a first for her 30-year career. George, mid-sentence, was cut off, leading to his indignant exit. Afterward, the studio buzzed with gossip. Crew members leaked stories of Lorraine's composure. Social media sleuths timed the segment, noting it lasted mere minutes before derailment. Celebrities weighed in. Piers Morgan tweeted support for Lorraine, while Ellen DeGeneres joked about interview mishaps. This boosted Clooney's activist cred, with donations to his foundation surging. Lorraine received viewer mail, mostly positive. The incident spurred think pieces on power dynamics in TV, questioning if male guests get more leeway. As footage recirculated, edits added dramatic music, amplifying the spectacle. Clooney appeared on other shows, downplaying it as a misunderstanding. Lorraine hinted at it in monologues, turning lemons into lemonade. Overall, it enriched pop culture lore, a reminder that live TV is unpredictable. What lessons? Perhaps more preparation, or embracing spontaneity. Either way, it's etched in TV history. Wrapping up our deep dive, the George Clooney-Lorraine Kelly clash serves as a cautionary tale for the entertainment industry. In hindsight, perhaps better vetting of topics could have prevented it, but then we'd miss the raw authenticity. The interview's legacy endures through endless replays and discussions. George continues his work, undeterred, while Lorraine hosts on her show as popular as ever. Fans speculate on a future reconciliation, maybe a rematch interview. Until then, this moment reminds us of the fine line between conversation and confrontation. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more celebrity insights.